Welcome everyone to this presentation, Protecting Our Children, the Importance of Measles Vaccination. I want to start this presentation with my favorite quote. Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. This was written by Edmund Burke. On the left, you'll see a picture of Edward Jenner. He was the original inventor of vaccinations. He started with the smallpox vaccine. And if you look back at history, vaccine hesitancy has always been around since the smallpox vaccine. And a lot of that mirrors exactly the same hesitation that we see in people and parents today. So it's no surprise that we have as much vaccine hesitancy that we have. If we look online, there is so much misrepresented and false information out there. Things like vaccines cause autism, in Italian court rules, the MMR vaccine causes autism. You'll see parent testimony, you'll see fake news reports, a lot of things being misrepresented and just a lot of bad information. So it's no wonder that we still have vaccine hesitancy today. So what is measles? Why does it matter? Why do we need to get vaccinated for it? It's a very highly contagious virus. It starts off with some common cold and flu symptoms, coughing, runny nose, fever. Some complications can be diarrhea and ear infections. Unfortunately, the rash, it takes 3 to 5 days for that rash to develop. So a lot of people don't realize that their kids are very sick and they'll send their kids to daycare, they'll send their kids to school, just give them some Tylenol, and they're actually spreading a very dangerous disease. 1 in 5 unvaccinated people who get measles will be hospitalized. Pneumonia is common. That's one of a serious complication. In fact, that's the #1 cause of death in measles is because of pneumonia that develops. And 1 out of every 20 children will develop pneumonia with the measles vaccine. Encephalitis, which is swelling of the brain, is another serious complication. About 1 in every 1,000 kids will develop that. And that can lead to permanent intellectual disabilities, deafness, even death. And unfortunately, 1 to 3 children out of every 1,000 who develop measles will die. There's complications if you're pregnant and you've never had the MMR vaccine. If you were exposed to the measles virus, you're at risk for premature birth and low birth weight babies. So it's not just a small childhood virus, it's actually very serious. So how does the vaccine work? They take a weakened form of the virus, they kind of break it down, and they give that to your child. And what happens is the immune system sees that virus that's injected, and they develop a memory towards it, so that if your child gets exposed to measles out in the environment, they'll be able to fight that off without getting sick and without any of those horrible complications. Um, the MMR vaccine, there's a schedule for it. It's 2 shots. You get the first shot at 12 to 15 months of age. The second dose is going to come when they're about 4 to 6 years old. It's good to get it before they start school, since we know schools, viruses, kids are sick all the time. In 2000, the US declared measles as eliminated. And unfortunately, since that time, a lot of parents have decided to not vaccinate their kids, and the disease is making a comeback. Just in 2025 alone, this past year, there's been 44 outbreaks. 1,596 cases have been diagnosed in the US alone. 12% of those have resulted in hospitalizations, and sadly, 3 children have died. So it's a very serious virus. It's a very serious illness. 1 dose of the MMR vaccine leaves children with 93% effectiveness at not getting measles. 2 doses makes them 97% effective at not getting the measles. Like I said, 1 in 5 will end up in the hospital. 500 million doses have been administered worldwide, and that has reduced the death rate by 62%. And that's just looking at the year 2000 to the year 2019. So it's very effective, it's very safe. Herd immunity, some people say, well, everybody else is vaccinated, so there's herd immunity. I don't need to get my kid vaccinated. Unfortunately, herd immunity will only work if 95% of the community is vaccinated. And today, I don't know that we're reaching that in some communities because some parents are choosing not to vaccinate. And there are some children that they can't get vaccinations, they have immune deficiencies. And if you take a room full of people, if one person isn't vaccinated, 90% of the people in that room, if they're not vaccinated, they will get measles. So it's a 90% infective rate, which is really significant. There's a lot of common myths and misconceptions. One of them we talked about was that the MMR vaccine causes autism. We know this isn't true. This has been proven again and again. This isn't just American scientists and American agencies that have studied this. This is worldwide. It's been proven over and over. Many studies have tried to find some links and tried to find this link with MMR and autism, and it just doesn't exist. Another myth is that we're giving kids too many vaccines, we're overwhelming their immune system. That is actually false as well. A lot of people don't realize that there are viruses and bacteria everywhere, all around us, and children are exposed to those pathogens every day in daycares, in school, outside with your dog, your pet, your cat, your dog, all of that. So we're not overwhelming them. Vaccines are a very small portion of what they're being exposed to. Another myth is that natural immunity is safer. Some people think, well, I'll let my kids get measles and then they'll be protected. Unfortunately, that can lead to very severe illness, even death. We talked about it before: pneumonia, which is the leading cause of death in children with measles, brain swelling, cognitive dysfunction, death. The virus can even come back a few years later and have some systemic effects. So natural immunity is not safer. It's important to address the fears with facts. A lot of people and a lot of parents, it's okay to be a little nervous. It's okay to have questions. So seek information from credible sources: the CDC, the American Academy of Pediatrics, the World Health Organization, your children's doctor. These are the experts. They've studied this stuff. They know it. Be prepared with questions ahead of time. If you're concerned, if you see something online, bring a copy of it to the pediatrician, to your kid's appointment, and don't be afraid to ask questions. A call to action: reach out, ask questions. It's okay to be nervous. It's okay to have questions, and it's okay to ask and address those. So that sums it up. The bottom line: the MMR vaccine is safe. Protect your children, protect the community, and let your babies grow up to be strong adults. Thanks for listening.